Good evening. Welcome to your what would normally be AEW Collision recap, and now we're adding StarrBash to it. I am your host, the Matty Man. And I'm also testing this thing live to see if we're actually going live. Waiting to see myself pop up. There we are. Now we're broadcasting live. There we are. I can see us. There we are. All right. The show opens up with Ryan Belfort and Stu promising us the greatest to come out of RWA. We're going to kick this off with a grudge match between Chad Lennox with Mama versus Ty Shane. Overall, this was a good match with good movesets and so on and so forth. The bell rings, and after some outside shenanigans, Ty seems to have a little bit of lucha in him, but that's okay because that's just the way we roll around here at RWA with, everything that we need. I gotta say, overall, Chad Lennox, Ty Shane, great way to open up your show. Honestly, overall, if I were going to start the show, having seen the whole show all the way through, this is exactly who I would start off with. And the bell rings. We have some outside action, some inside action. Ty seems to have a little bit of lucha in him. And the big piece of this, as I stated in the show, that apparently did not make it over to the stream, that we were remiss in the fact that at least Tony Khan and Conan were not watching this show, because they were watching it. I think they could have found some stars. I'm not going to skip ahead. Don't believe in skipping ahead, but, here we go. This was a grudge match. Chad Lennox opening up with the shirt I hated here. I mean, it wasn't good enough that Belfort and Stu literally set the table for me, which if you're going to have talking in the beginning of a show, I really, really, really would appreciate it if you'll set the table for the rest of the show. And I do know I'm late, guys. I see that coming in. We had this and this. I've kind of had an accident, which is why we're running a little bit behind. Other than that, though, the selling in this match was absolutely phenomenal. I cannot and will not give this anything other than what it deserves. I figure about 3.5 stars. The only thing about it, the finish kind of got me off a little bit. But once again, we're looking at developing wrestlers. And when you're looking at developing wrestlers, you got to cut them some slack. You really do. Because it's not fair to grade somebody coming out of Wrestling Academy the same way you would rate, I don't know. I'll even go Leo Rush or any to that, because Leo's a good wrestler. But I don't compare these two to him because they're still working on their craft. And quite a good job, gentlemen. By the way, it was Man, I want to tell you right now, if I had to build a promotion, if I was working on an independent promotion and I needed 2 people to build it around, you 2 would be the starters. Basically, everybody in this could have easily been a good independent wrestling show, just as easily as it was a phenomenal pitch. Great opener, great way to get your product out there. Dustin's been busting his ass advertising this, and I've been busting my ass advertising it with him, because I thought this could be, a good show for the night. And thank you, Dustin, for not letting me down. Chad Lennox picks up his first win ever in RWA, and that in and of itself gives sort of a storyline to it. For those who say that everybody but WWE, oh, they don't do storylines. Well, you got to learn how to read them in the ring, sweetie. And this match was a great opener, great talk-in, great opener. Both of them sell phenomenally, which is lost art in wrestling these days. Overall, though, good match, 4 stars. Probably could have got to 5 with a tighter finish, but there again, once again, I am not making a comparison between a beginner and a seasoned pro. That's not me. You're going to pick all this stuff up over the years, and it only gets better from here. This was really, really phenomenal. I got to say, of all the matches that I have seen overall, this one right here was a great opener for what proves out to be a great show. Moving right along, we got a promo from Hit. I said this earlier in the stream that crashed, and I want to say it again because I want this on record. This match coming up, you needed him. I didn't know him. I didn't know him from Adam. I didn't really know any of them. But he walked in with an impassioned approach, and he started talking me into the door. Don't sleep on Hit's promo skills because they were really good. Shout out to Hit for bringing the information for someone who's never seen the product before. The awesome ambassador promo sucked me right in, got me ready, got the table set for the next match, which was the RWA Women's title. This was between Kimberlina and Iris. Once again, absolutely no idea who they were until after this match. Usually when I watch an indie show and I don't know the people, generally there's a few of them that I prefer not to continue not knowing the person. Everything that he brought into this match, everything that Dustin brought into this event was literally a tuxedo with your best foot forward, which is what all independent wrestling organizations really need to start doing more of. Don't get me wrong, I like the spots, I like the weapons, I like the blood. But if you're going to be a regular promotion, if you're going to be that guy, then every one of you probably needs to pick up your phone, give Dustin a call and say, you know, I've been hearing about this RWA thing. I sat down and I watched it, and damn, you put a good show together. You know, y'all need to collab. If anything in the world, some of the higher up independent groups, they need to collab with this show. This show was very well put together. Better than actually, honestly, I went into it with an open mind, knowing good and well that we have wrestling students that are trying their ass off to be professionals. So I went into it with that energy, and I was absolutely not disappointed. Good show. Moving in, RWA Women's title, Kimberlina versus Iris. Kimberlina kind of struck me as a New Japan Pro Wrestling influence. I don't know where I got all that from. I saw some strong style. I saw some chain. I saw some good moves, good move sets. And, of course, the announce crew not really giving them a name. I can't give them a name. This match had everything in it that you want in a woman's match. It had drama. It had excitement. It had good movesets. It had good quality wrestling to it. So I'm already sold. I'm already in my seat. I'm glued to my seat. I'm loving this. Kimberlina's got some... I'm going to tell you right now, she is just about ready for at least the ROH NXT run. I would put her in ROH NXT tomorrow. I'd let her finish out right there. Great stuff. Iris, I think, is more of a upper mid-card, maybe in one of the main shows. And if I understand the commentary correctly, that would be probably because she's got a little bit more experience over Kimberlina, and it showed. The only thing about this match that I thought was absolutely not befitting of it was the roll-up pinup. That was it. The only advice I would ever give, and not that I'm in a position to give advice, but I've seen a lot of wrestling, I've seen what sells, and I've seen what doesn't sell. When you are having a banger match, close it like a banger. Close it out. Next match didn't have a problem with that. And once again, that's not a criticism, because overall, this match probably would have been 4.5, 5 stars. That finish just kind of slowed me down a little bit. Gave me something to think about. And I'm like, okay, Matthew, you got to remember that you're watching an academy. Because there have been many a times when I was watching this show that I forgot I was watching an academy. And I thought I was actually watching some professional wrestlers. Some known entities. And to me, after tonight, they are quite well known. And anyway, I'm going to stop rah-rahing and cheerleading. So Iris picks up the pin and the retention with a roll-up. Nothing overall terrible, crazy there. And maybe I'm being a little too hard on the match. Maybe I should be a little easier. But overall, I feel like if you're doing a banger style, I need to see a banger finish. And if I can see a banger finish, I'm good with that. Now we're at the midpoint of this show with Wyatt and Wayne Rhodes, the Texas Outlaws, versus Romero and RWJ. Sorry, guys, I'm having problems tonight. Bang your head a couple of times. You'll have as many problems as I'm having. Trust me. The RWA Outlaws. So, could this have been the gunfight at the OK Corral? Could this have been the shootout at Little Bighorn? No. No, it is not. We're looking at a Texas bunkhouse match. Innovated, created by the late, great American Dream Dusty Rhodes. It was a fitting match for the Rhodes brothers, nephew of Dustin Rhodes. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail here. I'm going to dissect this match a little bit, because a lot of times when you've got family involved, and I'll go back to AWA, I'll go back to WCCW, World Class Championship Wrestling, with the Von Erichs. I will go to AWA with Greg and Vern Gagne. And to some extent, I will go to WWE with Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, the son-in-law, etc., etc., etc. When you see family names in a family promotion, what's your automatic take? I'll wait for a minute. I want you to think about this. What's your automatic take? Well, I'll tell you what my automatic take was. My automatic take was that the Rhodes brothers were walking out with a title. It's their family. It's their family's match. It's a bunkhouse match, and Dusty Rhodes rarely, if ever, I don't think, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he ever lost a bunkhouse match. So the table is set. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, here we got our first gotcha. This is where the patriarchy is just going to lay into it. We're going to have a title switch. It's going to be a squash. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. That's where your brain goes with this when you're doing analysis. And this is another reason why I say wholeheartedly, without reservation, hesitation at all, indie guys, this match should be on your watch list. If it is not on your watch list, it should be. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. All you got to do is hit up YouTube, go to Rhodes Wrestling Academy, pull up StarrBash. We're done. You're ready. You should watch this match because the way it was booked, I swear, God is my witness, may I be struck by lightning dead if I'm lying. I really honestly thought that Dustin was booking this match like, really? You're going to bury your kids like that? And he didn't bury them. Now, when you're watching the match, there's a lot of things that go through your mind when you're analyzing it. I'm like, really? He's going to let these guys go over Rhodes? Okay. Yeah. It's a good book. So, here we are. We're halfway through the match. This is the way I like to see grudge matches and specialty matches get started. I like to see fists flying, none of this handshaking and, oh, we're just going to be friends now. No. Absolutely not. No. Not what I'm looking for. What I saw and what actually happened were one and the same. That was a very well thought out, very well choreographed, very well produced match inside the ring, outside the ring, in the parking lot, close to the dumpster, around the truck, upstairs, downstairs, left, right, up, down, left, right. And I'm sitting here going with a legitimate smile on my face. He is going to let the RWA go over the Texas Outlaws. He is going to show me something that nobody has ever shown. And he still did it. Dustin, you killed it, man. You killed it. You booked this match so that I had absolutely no clue, no idea who was going to win. And I loved every second of it. Now, another thing to come out of this match, too, how they closed it out with that modified looking crossroads is how all of you should be doing it. That thing looked phenomenal. And shout out to the Texas Outlaws and the RWA Outlaws for actually putting on a match that made me forget, in all honesty, that this was a wrestling academy. This was a match that could have easily been on Collision. This match could have easily been on Dynamite. This match could have easily been on Rampage. And I'm going to go back and watch this match after I'm done with the review. I liked it that much. So shout out to you, Dustin, for the book. Shout out to the RWA Outlaws, Texas Outlaws, for putting on a phenomenal clinic of a match. And a shout out to pro wrestling, because we're about to get a couple of teams here in a couple of years that have got movesets, that have got finishers. They got a little bit of everything. They can work anywhere, do anything they want to. Please don't go to WWE. I'm begging you. Please keep this in the indies for at least 5 to 10 years. Or do it at AEW. Pretty please, with sugar on top. Because I want to see you guys develop the chain wrestling. I want to see you develop your speed. I want to see you develop a pace that demands a respect everywhere you go. And you are on that. You have it. You are it. Now go be it. Bottom line, no pause. You have it. You are it. Go be it. Please. Respectfully. And after that, we got a C.D. Bennett promo. And we did have an RWA commercial. That young gentleman whose name escapes me, and he is actually one of my followers. I follow him, the Rhodes Legacy guy, the one that played Dusty Rhodes. That was a cool commercial. It was a good inset. It was a nice, relaxing moment. And in all honesty, really, really, really brought the house down. For me, let me qualify that, for me. Like I said, Hit started talking me into the building. CD kicked the door open and said, you know what? Why are you not excited about this match? The two of those guys play well together. Tony, I've been saying this through the whole show. Tony, you need to be watching this. You need to be a part of this. You need to be watching this. You need to be endorsing this. These guys did your styles and did them quite well, did them quite as well as most of your performers. As far as I'm concerned, this was a match made ready for television. This would have worked out quite well on any show. Now, I say Collision, Dynamite, and Rampage because those happen to be my favorites. But this would have worked in a WWE show. This would have worked anywhere. Shout out to both of y'all for putting on one hell of a match. Yeah. And shout out to CD Bennett for that promo. I know I'm a little bit upside down. I get it. I'm getting back together with it. Part of the accident. I apologize. But that moves us right into Ozzy and Vin Parker once again. I am watching a show to which I have absolutely no clue who anyone is. Ozzy came in, introduced himself in the ring with his moveset. So did Vin Parker. Vin. Shout out to you for actually doing the low blow correctly. This match had, once again, like the three before it, we had some good chain wrestling. We had some good signature moves. The Vin low blow, I mean, for real, that totally sold me. I was like, wow, they're keeping this energy up. See, inevitably, when you get, especially with these smaller cards, the cards where you only have like 5 or 6 matches, it's real easy for one match to derail the other ones. It is real easy to. The energy in this match was as good, if not better, than a lot of WWE matches I've seen and a lot of AEW matches. The energy was great. The low blow, like I said, that was unexpected. I'm like, wow, this is a training match, and they're doing all the good stuff. So, that said, once again, phenomenal match, phenomenal everything, all the way across the board, well put together. The production was phenomenal. Ozzy gets the win. It didn't derail the momentum. It didn't elevate the momentum. It just kind of held it to the last minute. And there's nothing wrong with that because I'm going to tell you something, gentlemen. Every card needs somebody to handhold. They do. They need something to handhold. And shout out to y'all for keep doing that. It only gets better from here. And I say that respectfully to everybody tonight. It literally only gets better. The next hard day you're going to face is tomorrow. Overall, hell of a match. Ozzy gets the win. That lines us up and that gets us all set for the RWA main event with Hit versus CD Bennett for the RWA Heavyweight Championship. And in a definitely made-for-television moment, can I just say right now, God bless this match because it really brought the whole show full circle. The referee for this match was Misty Marks. And since they made a big deal about presenting that, I made a big deal about making sure I wrote her name down right. Yeah, okay. This is definitely something else that I think the independent wrestling groups could draw from. I saw the ring. There was like 10 people. 10. Maybe 11, maybe 12. I wasn't counting. I was watching the players, not the game. But shout out to Hit and CD Bennett for delivering a big fight feel in a room full of 10 people. Maybe 12, maybe 15. And I'm watching, and I think at this point, you got like 120 people streaming it. So roughly you're doing this in front of 130 people. You got a camera and you got 10 people banging on a mat. This really hit like a big fight feel. And like the rest of the roster for the night, great picks, by the way. Perfect picks. Everybody sold when they were supposed to sell. They told stories when they were supposed to tell stories. And they wrestled when they were supposed to wrestle. And it had a big fight feel. I'm not blowing smoke when I say, this had like a main event for any house show, a main event for most any television show. This had that main event feel. And that's very hard to deliver in a single room with 10 people. So shout out to Hit and CD Bennett for putting on one hell of a stand-up. The moveset was off the chain. The finishes, the close calls. That one where it was like this far and you're like, yeah, no. It delivered. It delivered. I wrote down both Hit and Bennett look like they're ready to be called up. That was my feel for the whole match. They put on I'm not going to put it in like a main event pay-per-view or PLE, whichever one you subscribe to. I'm not going to put it in the main event category, but this match probably could have stood with anything TNA puts out from about hour 1 to hour 3. This will stand with any of those. It will for damn sure stand with any WWE PLE match. Now, I'm not putting it in a main event category for that, because there's usually a lot of drama, a lot of workup, and there's a lot more storytelling for your main event. However, I will say that I would put this in as a main event for a Dynamite. This is a main event for a Rampage. This is almost a main event for a Collision. I just happen to be fond of the Collision show, and I like some of the main events they put on. This would be a main event for NXT all day, every day. This would probably be a main event for a SmackDown. This would probably be pretty close to the feeder match for the main event at Raw. I only have one criticism. And it's not even really a criticism, it's an observation. There was a sequence in the ring where obviously you guys were doing some rest work, and I mean, I get it, we got to rest. You guys, especially Hit, you're a super heavyweight. You cannot go like a lucha. Some can, some can't, and the ones that can don't for very long. So don't feel bad about that. You brought the right energy all the way up, and even after there was an exchange when you were in one corner and Bennett was sitting in the other corner, and you were coming over lurking, so to speak. The only thing that I would offer, and once again, this is just a suggestion, when you are crossing the ring, do not slump forward. Try to straighten your back out, kick your chin up a little bit, get a scowl, because if you do like this right here, you get your breathing in, so you get your rest across there, and it has a little bit more of an intimidating look. And once again, that's an observation. I am not trained. I got a show. I've watched wrestling for 50 years. I'm not trained. I'm just saying that in that one particular sequence, that's the only thing that keeps this match at a 4.8 for me. Just that one little thing. And that wasn't really that bad. I only deducted 0.2 of a point for that because that's something you learn. In the process of selling, you've also got to sell your approach. And that's it's an observation. It's not even a criticism. This match right here, off the chain, good finishes, good work. Dustin Rhodes, I will definitely be seated for every one of your productions going forward. I will definitely cover every one of your productions going forward. It was gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. I was sold. Anybody that watched, if you weren't sold, your soul is broken. Bottom line. And I was going to cover Collision tonight, but as I look through all the streams and everything, there is roughly about 15 of them already and counting. So I am not going to be the 16th one to tell you something that 15 other people have already told you tonight. Next Saturday, I will be live after Collision. I will also be live on Thursday after OVW. And I am planning on being live Tuesday with the Flower Shop. So join us again on Tuesday. I'll be having all the necessary promotions up. And so, once again, this is your StarrBash review. I am your host, the Matty Man. And thank you for staying with us this long. And good night, America, wherever you are.